To visit many of Colorado's mountain towns is to travel back in time. Life is slower here, quieter. The streetscape changed very little by 100 years. And at the center, the local mercantile. In the town of Yampa, that would be Montgomery's.
It's a throwback to the past, and if they don't have it, you don't need it. It's just nice to come and relax and get, the way life used to be.
Montgomery's wasn't always the only game in town. Down the street, a store where time really has stopped.
Pretty much been a time capsule.
In here, the calendars on the wall haven't changed in 50 years.
This is Duffy's. I remember them when I was a kid growing up.
Crossan's M&A Market closed in 1964.
Not much has happened. They just shut the doors.
Ending 60 years of selling.
It was built in 1903 by Sam Bell, George Canant, and another fellow. Those first few years, up until the 1930s, it changed hands many times.
Rita Harold grew up on a ranch outside of Yampa and remembers the store well.
The Crossans were very good about giving the ranchers the leeway to pay once or twice a year. They'd just carry a tab.
It was a small town way of doing business, one that changed very little from the day the store opened.
The big door was where they would keep the meat. The small door was where they kept the eggs and the butter.
At one point, Yampa boasted 4 different mercantiles.
They were entrepreneurs. They had come here with the idea that this was the new area that was exploding in Colorado, new area in the West.
That promise never fully developed, and by the 1960s, Crossan's M&A Market was ready to change hands one more time.
Joe Montgomery bought it back at that time. He was running a mercantile himself here in town, and he used the building as storage.
The town of Yampa bought the building a few years ago, and a small group of people rallied to create a plan for reviving the old building.
You could barely make out dry goods right here.
From the outside, restoration seems to be a tall order.
The building sags a little bit in the middle because essentially the wood beam that's sitting on the gravel is not there.
Many in town were skeptical, but when the building was opened up to the public for the first time in nearly 50 years, that old-time feeling seemed to open minds.
And a lot of people who originally I would refer to as the gasoline and match crowd, as far as the outside of the building, walked in, and I think their minds were changed when they saw what we had here.
Plans are underway to restore the building to be the new town hall and also to serve as a gateway for regional tourism. Realizing those plans will require help from outside the community.
I mean, we all know how to clean this building. We all know how to put a new roof on it. We know how to do those things, but to conceptualize, how do you raise the money? Where do you go? How do you start?
But this is a small Colorado mountain town, and they know they can rely on each other.
Anytime any of the small communities can get together and work with their neighbors, it's like a barn raising. It's like you really, really can feel it. You can see the pride of not only our people, but just also other people who say, I want to help you with that.